Hello and welcome back to the Manosphere Paradigm, the channel where we learn to level up in health, wealth, relationships, and hobbies. As you guys can see, I have changed my format from doing the obviously the pre-edited video, and I've swapped to the live stream type of, or at least live stream platform to better interact and get some feedback from you guys directly on the subjects that I discuss when it comes to the Manosphere Paradigm and the channel and this channel that I am on. So yeah, it's like I said before, it is live. There's mistakes, there's bloopers. It's all in one go. It's all part of the fun. And it's for me basically just to get to know the guys that subscribe to the channel and invite some more people to have open discussions on things that I'm wanting to discuss. The Manosphere Paradigm, as I mentioned, is a channel geared towards men and where we talk about health, wealth, relationships, and hobbies. Today, I want to take up and as you can see the title, it says, How RP Awareness Helps you Identify Social Engineering. And basically what that is about is basically understanding that when it comes to red pill awareness and understanding certain things in life, when you watch music, you don't listen to music the same way you listened to it before. When you listen to the R&B classics back in the day, the Boys to Men, when it comes to watching certain movies, when it comes to watching the news, whatever information that we take in, once you have red pill awareness and RP awareness, there's a certain level of no BS that you have when it comes to listening to things. And because you're RP aware, you basically make sure to accept things for what it is and no longer believe in that dream world type of scenario that we find ourselves living in. It's something that, to the way we were brought up when it came to in the videos, you can go check out the channel. I talk about to be the man that you're supposed to be rather than the man that you were brought up to be. So in today's discussion, like I mentioned, it's how RP awareness helps to identify social engineering and how you can how it helps you to basically sift through the BS. And I have an example. You may have seen it or you may have not seen it, but I just want to, before I do, let me just add this to the live stream and show you guys what I'm going to be talking about. Let me hide that. There we go. That's much better. So how RP awareness helps you identify social engineering, and the ways and the 3 points that I'm going to discuss is basically the 3 points of attack. They are these purpose-driven advertising, and I'm going to use the example of Gillette. The Gillette ad, I'm going to use that and show that to you. Also, why it is gone to that they no longer selling the product. I mean, many times you've seen adverts, so you know what that's about. I'll delve into that deeper. And then basically the RP advantage that you have being RP aware and how it helps you to sift through the BS, like I said. So let's get started, and I'll start off with the purpose-driven advertising. I'm going to use the example of the Gillette advert. It's an advert that has been very controversial, and when I actually check out the actual advert, when I see the advert and I look at what the let me just have a look this way. You guys can probably see it that way. If you look at the actual advert and you look at the amount of dislikes from men, it is 1.6 million dislikes and 807,000 likes. So that is double the amount of dislikes. So it clearly shows you that men in general were not happy with this advert because it was talking about we believed as Gillette, they believe that the best man can, you can be, they believe, at least Gillette, let me just say that over, they believe this is the new version of the best a man can be. If you used to check out or watch Gillette, I used to enjoy Gillette World Sports Special. I enjoyed the sports that went along with it. And it was always that very manly and masculine setup that they had when it came to the way they basically went about doing sports coverage and doing it from a very manly type of approach. It's something that we all, if we had proper masculine role models in our lives, we would have seen it in the people that we grew up and our dads, our uncles, our granddads around us. I mean, they were hardcore. And when it comes to the example that Gillette is now trying to display as to what the new way is that we need to change from the old to the new, that's for you to make up your mind. But I'm going to play the advertisement and just go through it so that you can have a better view of it and or at least understanding. So let me do that and up the volume. There we go.
Toxic masculinity. Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it. It's been going on far too long. You can't laugh it off.
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Come on. To say the right thing. To act the right way. Some already are. In ways big and small. But some is not enough.
Somehow we treat each other like that.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
Okay, so there you have it. That is their ad when it comes to teaching us or telling us that the best a man can be, that old way of thinking and the old way is no longer. And they believe that we as men need to go a different route and we need to do better. So there's a couple of things that stand out for me, and some things that I do pick up that for me is like when it comes through looking at this from an RP lens, through an RP lens at least, I can clearly just see a lot of things that sticks out as sore points as to just saying to myself, just shaking my head basically. And one of the first things is that just off the bat is bullying. Now, bullying is not that bullying is a complete bad thing. I mean, I come from the generation, I'm Gen X, I was born in 1980. So I come from a generation that if you had a bully and you had to, you at times, you were bullied, whether it's physically, whether it is emotionally, but you basically to reach a boiling point as a youngster that you got to the point of standing up to your bully. I am a reasonably sized guy. I am what, 5'6", 7-ish. I don't. I'll say 5'6", 5'5", probably somewhere there. So when it comes to me, the reason I say that is we are I'm 1.69, 1.689, something there around when it comes to my height. So whatever it is in feet, 5 something, there we go. But I've always been a guy that had to stand up for myself and basically make sure that I I was always bullied because I was smaller when I was a kid. And it was physically, it was emotionally. But as a youngster, I got to a point of understanding that I needed to stand up for myself. And that is what I did. That day, I made sure the bully went home and had something to think about, and then refrained from bullying me further because they knew I was going to basically be a menace to them. So bullying, I would say, it is not that it is complete bad thing. Sometimes kids, that is where you build your character and your bully pushes you. So like Eddie Griffin, one comedian said that you think you bully badass, and then you basically you go down around the road, or you go down to another neighborhood, and then your ass get beat by Billy Badass, and then you learn, I think I'm good at math. So I believe bullying is not necessarily a bad thing, and it can always be it can also be a good thing. The bad thing about it, obviously, if it gets out of hand, it is something that you as a kid need to tell your kid to obviously let you know about it, so you can intervene if it is extremely bad, because nowadays it can be. But again, I'm not going to completely say it's completely bad, because at times your kid, or I myself, as I grew up, I had to stand up for myself, and that built my character. The second thing is where they refer to sexual harassment. For instance, a guy cold approaching a chick, whether he's what is it, doing the whistle, whatever the case may be, cold approaching, saying, "Whoa, dude, that is not cool." Um, when it comes to cold approaching, it is still something that women wants from men. However, this whole thing about the whole Me Too issue has basically made guys to just stop doing that and say to themselves, you know what, I'd rather not, because I can land me into I can land into trouble for that. But it is something that that has, where we find ourselves in this environment where men are scared to cold approach because of what the Me Too movement, number one, and being considered a sexual predator. But the thing is, women still want a man to be confident to walk up to them and cold approach them. So that is the dilemma we find ourselves in. The other thing is the difference between a woman and one of the RP truths that we do know about and clearly see. Would have seen it in whether it is maybe at work, whether it's in a social setting. You oddly see that whenever someone is whether it's a guy is being how can I say, he's being blamed for being a sexual for sexual harassment. It's oddly enough, you'll see it's the guy that is not a good looking guy, the guy that you'll have the same guy, a good looking guy, and you'll have a guy that is chubby and fat and socially awkward. Both of them say the same thing to a lady and tell her, wow, your dress looks wonderful today, or at least it looks beautiful on you, and you look so sexy in it. So most of the time, we do know in the manosphere that if the guy is good looking and is someone that she's attracted to, her response would be, thank you. If the guy is chubby, he is overweight and unattractive and socially awkward, that would amount to sexual harassment. That is some of the things we do understand and know within the manosphere, within RP, with RP awareness. That is something that we definitely know, because that is the difference, that sometimes these type of things are being looked at. Another one is where this whole thing of being sensitive, being caught up in how the way we feel and always having. That's something that we as men are always encouraged and we are told to pursue, to always be in our motion. The problem is with us, we are not that. In my previous stream, I spoke about the differences between men and women, and how men differ and how women differ from each other, but complement each other to come together and create something beautiful. But when it comes to the differences, men are more stoic. We tend to be more stoic in general, but society is, and this advert is telling us to be more sensitive. And I would disagree with that and say that we need to be more stoic as men and learn to control our emotions. As a Christian guy, one of the fruits of the Spirit is that self-control. So when you have your emotions lead you constantly, you are not being centered and not move, and you are allowing emotion to move you off your square. And whether that is emotion that you're having of something that happened from outside influence, from a woman, from something that happened to you, but we should not let our emotion lead where we go and what we do. Another one is the boys will be boys. Yes, they will be, because they're boys. I don't know what else to say when it comes to boys will be boys. They say it in a way as though it is bad, but being masculine and being a man, it is something that is frowned upon, and something that we as men have to step into confidently, because that is who we are. We are masculine men, and the problem is the advert like this tends to come across with this entire, the reason I believe there's a 1.6 million dislikes is the fact that they are no longer selling the product of Gillette and the shaver to men. They are now selling a culture and trying to influence men to believe and think a specific way. And I mean, it comes across as this whole challenging gender stereotypes and talking against the evils of toxic masculinity. It's creating this whole banner of just how men need to get proper and need to get right, and how we need to be more emotional, be more sensitive, and doing and following and being led by emotion. I don't agree with that. Another one that I pick up, which was which Terry Crews I saw, where he was sitting in front of some type of council, was talking about accountability, and we as men have to be accountable to each other, to other men. That I do agree with, but the problem is that's one side of the coin. When it comes to racial awareness and understanding the truths, the cold hard truths in life, one of those cold truths that we believe, and at least that we kind of like accept about life, is the fact that females and women have hypergamy. It is built in, it's hardwired. Females have hypergamy where they always go for the better man, they go for the better option, and they always go for what is best for them. It is not to say that that's a bad thing. It is the way they have been hardwired, because in the past, in the caveman days, they had to make sure they get the right partner that can look after them and can also protect them and provide for them. That fast forward into today's modern society, hypergamy is on steroids, and when it comes to them wanting what they want, there's certain levels of delusion of wanting certain things that does not make sense, and some things they don't even qualify for. So when it comes to accountability, and when I take it back to hypergamy, is that there's certain decisions that women make because of that hypergamy. They let go of good guys, and they friend zone certain guys because their hypergamy tells them, you know what, this guy, he's too much of a nice guy, and I've told you about being a nice guy. Go check out my video, how to stop being a nice guy. But that hypergamy has pushed them at times too far, where they've made certain decisions that they believe were for their best and the best outcome. The problem is they're chasing after that alphas and letting go of good guys that was solid providers, that had solid character, and was a solid guy. But most of these guys, they tend to end up and land in the friend zone, and women pass them by or pass them up. So when it comes to accountability, yes, Terry Crews in the Gillette advert, I agree with him. Men, we need to keep each other accountable, and we need to push each other, and we need to do better. And we also need to then in turn be able to contribute to society in a positive manner, and not go what we call in the manosphere the black pole route. We get past red pole rage and we push towards being the better versions of ourselves, for ourselves, our families, and for society as a whole. The only thing is, when it comes to the other side of the coin that I mentioned, was when it comes to hypergamy, there's certain decisions that women make, and then they basically then experience the results of those decisions that they made. And one of those decisions is enjoying their 20s, partying it up, and enjoying the we call it in the manosphere the 3 or 4 phase. You can check out what that's about. But that's the promiscuous phase, and that's in the 20s, and then the epiphany phase kicks in at 30, and now going towards 35, understanding that, you know what, I'm not gonna always have this beauty or the level of hotness that I have, and I'm the clock is ticking, and I'm I'm basically need to hit the buzzer beater. So what happens is they go back into that friend zone and try and go get those guys, but those guys have moved on, gotten someone else, and now they come and a woman turn around and say, well, where's all the nice guys gone? That is where men in the manosphere say, we respected your decision of wanting to enjoy and have yourself being led by your internal hypergamy and not keeping it under control and always wanting the best. You've done that. Now that it comes to where it's the flip side, and men are in their 30s, they are more They are more mature, they are more stable financially, and now they are looking actually a bit further than just the overall looks, but they're looking at how a woman can contribute and complement their life. They are a bit more picky because they have a bit more options. That is when these ladies that has squandered their 20s come into their 30s, turn around saying, where's all the good guys gone? You know what? You had your chance. It is what it is. You know what? We all had to make decisions. And those are the results of those decisions that you made to say, I'm going to enjoy what I want to enjoy. You're going to ride the CC. In the manosphere, we talk about the CC. We call it's the cock carousel. It's a cock carousel where women basically enjoy their polygamous lifestyle and do what they want. And like I said, once their epiphany phase kicks in at 30, they'll turn around and say to themselves, you know what, I need to get a solid guy. But by then, the guys have grown wiser, and they are starting to learn the game, and they are starting to play it and starting to win. So the accountability part, I would say, go both ways. And to me, when Terry Crews says men need to be accountable to women, the flip side, I will say, women also need to be kept accountable for decisions that they make. The last one that I picked up, where the dad went in, I saw him grab his boy to go and stop a fight. There was like 4 or 5 guys that was bullying this one kid, and then he jumped in. Now, sometimes, yes, obviously, you if something is happening and you have the power to step in, you can do that, but the decision is yours. The problem with today's men are that there's a certain level, and the level of white knighting, we call it white knighting, where men basically go to the extreme to jump into situations where it is none of their business, and they get involved and ultimately end up being the victim of whatever was happening. So, case in point, example of my own life, I was driving with a friend years back. Yeah, it was like, I think it was in my early 20s. I was driving with a friend in my car, and we were I think we were going on my way to my house, and we were driving, and along the road we saw this couple fighting with each other, and my friend was like, pull over, let's go and break this up. Look at what this guy is doing to this woman. When we came past them, the guy was already retaliating and laying hands left, right, and center, and you can just imagine how that looked. I stopped the car, my friend jumped out, and he got involved to stop the fight and grab the guy. Luckily, he was obviously a bit, or at least he and the guy was more or less the same size. And luckily also for him, the guy didn't have any weapon on him, because he just got out, jumped in, and wanted to be this white knight for this woman, as to grabbing the guy and telling him, why are you hitting her, blah, 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 getting involved, getting hyper. Meanwhile, while he's doing this, the lady is screaming at him, telling him to stop it, don't hurt him. Her boyfriend or husband, whatever he was to her, that just slapped her and just assaulted her. But she is telling my friend to not hurt him or not hit him or stop, leave him alone. That is what she was doing. So one of the biggest lessons for me back then was, I've learned that I do not get involved in domestic situations. In when it comes to something that's happening, I don't get involved. It is a rule that I have, because I've seen people that get involved, and they're the ones that end up landing in the hospital, and even worse. So in that video for this Gillette advert, this whole thing of this white knighting is something that has risen within society. Men that are being led by their emotion, they are seeing certain things, they jump into it, they get involved and say to themselves, let me jump in and save and be Captain Save-A-Ho. The problem with that is you end up and land yourself into bigger trouble, especially if there's some other factors, when the guy that, or the fight that you're jumping into, there's weapons involved, there's guns, there's knives, and the amount of people that's also involved. So I would say do not white knight. Don't do it. If you can control the situation in talking, or if it is not your business, don't get involved in other people's business. We've seen these memes how many times where people are doing their own thing, the drama's happening behind the guy, and this guy is either on his phone or he's fixated on what he's doing. He's got nothing to do with what's happening behind him. That is something that I agree with, and that is something I do, because I don't get myself involved unnecessarily. So yeah, I mean, those were the things that I just saw. The bullying, I explained that. The sexual assault, when it comes to women and the people, when they claim sexual assault, you always see that the guy that's being blamed, or the guy that's being charged or being accused, is the one that is either the pudgy or ugly looking dude, and the good looking dude tend to get away with a bit more. That is just it is what it is. It happens. Obviously, sexual assault, when certain things guys take it too far, and they do do the SA. We would say in the manosphere, we call it SA. That when they do perpetrate SA, that is something that is also obviously not condoned. And we are okay, fine, if it happens, it's fine. No, that is not what I'm saying. So please, what I will just say, when it comes to you listening to what is happening in the manosphere, a lot of things that's being discussed, a lot of things that's being picked up, please just understand that the content creators within the manosphere, we understand 1 + 1 is 2. So when we make a comment or an observation, you have to understand, we obviously understand the flip side of it and how something is not okay. So don't just look at it and look at it as to they only saying these things are okay. But then at the end of the day, we basically saying don't do this, but do this. So you know what? Just understand that we all are using common sense, and when we say that I talk about SA, I'm talking about in where the difference is always that if it's a good-looking guy, he tend to get away with it because the woman is attracted to him. Or if it's an ugly guy or pudgy, fat-looking guy or fat guy, he is not going to get that same benefit, and he's going to be the one that's going to be blamed. So it is what it is. Boys will be boys, yes, because we are masculine men. We are boys. The way we sometimes we don't listen, we don't care to listen, we're not attentive, we are not considerate. Sometimes it is the way we are, just the way we are made. This way that we just don't care about certain things, and we really have to. I mean, how many times have you tried to, as a guy, try to watch a game, a movie, whatever, something that's on the telly, and your woman is talking to you, and it's maybe something that you're not really that interested in, but you are listening to her, but you are also not watching the TV, and she is saying to you to stop watching the TV because you're not paying attention. Sometimes we do these things, but it is just the way we are. And obviously, sometimes if it's obviously important, we'll switch off the TV. Yes, what is it? Let's listen to what the issue is and talk it through. But other than that, we like what we like as men. We're not gonna change. And evolution and the way we are being created, the way we've evolved, is not gonna change. Men is gonna be men, and that is something that's not gonna change. Accountability, like I mentioned, both for men and for women, because I spoke about hypergamy and the results of it. And lastly, white knighting, where women, or at least men, tend to white knight and jump in for women, and tend to get themselves into awkward situations. So if I pull back up the, let me just remove this and add this. So the 3 points of attack I've discussed, and I've gone through the Gillette ad, purpose-driven advertising, and I want to move over to no longer selling the product. And what do I mean when I say they are no longer selling the product? Like I said, I mean Gillette sells shaving blades, sells the shaver itself, and that is related to men. So Gillette is talking about, and the entire ad is about going on about how we need to change from the best we can be, the old version that is outdated, and now need to change to a new version that is the man that is within his emotion, the man that is one that is led by his emotion, the guy that basically white knights for others, the guy that always just places no accountability on women for the decisions when they do certain things and they act a certain way and they are disrespectful. There's no accountability on their end to behave a certain way, and to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. And as always, just us as men, we need to get right and we need to be respectful no matter what. You can't hit a woman, all these wonderful things. Go check out Bill Burr. He's one of my favorite comedians. He talks about where there is this thing about you can never hit a woman. And for me, and the way he has explained it, Bill Burr, go check it out. It's on YouTube. He asked the question, really, is there really no example? Is there really not once where it is okay to actually retaliate? Because he talks about how many times are you being egged on, how you are being... she's in your face. She may have laid her hands on you as well. We as men, we need to respect ourselves. And if you are being assaulted, or you are being damaged or hurt physically in a bad way, you first try to remove yourself from the situation. But if you can't and you have to defend yourself, then you're gonna have to lay some hands. And try and stay away from the face. Try and make sure there's video footage so that you can protect yourselves. But you as a man are not going to just stand there and be used as a punching bag. If you're being disrespected, you're being physically assaulted, you have the right to defend yourself. Because we as men, as I mentioned, we are stoic, we control the emotion, but if you are in a situation where you're being assaulted and you have to defend yourself, then by all means, I will say do that. If you can remove yourself from the situation, then do that as well. But the accountability that I spoke about earlier is that it lies with both, because we as men have control ourselves, and you have these white knights that says you can't hit a woman or retaliate under any circumstance. Fine. But if you are being stabbed or you're being hurt or you are being assaulted, and the only thing that you can do is defend yourself and do that, then my question is, what is the white knights going to be doing? They are standing around being assaulted, being slapped, being disrespected, and they take it and they still turn around and run back to women. That is what we call in the manosphere a blue ball baitism. And it's someone that has no respect for themselves. So that is where I can see this advert and what this type of social engineering that's happening within advertising when it comes to the way we are being taught by society or told by society to follow certain things, how we are shamed by men, women obviously using sign language. And a lot of times these white knights that I was talking about, these men, they use the same sign language to shame men. And sign language, what is sign language? It is SING, which is shame, insult, guilt trip, and the need to be right. If you as a man are using sign language to shame men into believing what they believe and be operating within the masculine frame and saying to them that is too macho and that is toxic masculinity, you need to get tapped into your masculinity more, so that you can stop being I would say stop being a blue person and stop conforming to everyone, stop being a nice guy, and stop growing a pair. Because at the end of the day, that is what society is asking for and yearning for. Because in society that is led by men that are led by their emotions, they cannot be trusted. And the same females that keeps on telling you that they want a sensitive guy that is in touch with his emotions, you will be in the friend zone, and you will ask yourself, why am I here? Because you are listening to what they say, but you are not seeing and looking at what they are doing. Because they can tell you they want the sensitive guy, but they will go for the masculine guy, and you will be standing and asking yourself, what the so it's up to you. Either you're going to wise up, accept the cold hard truths of life, and say to yourself, you know what? There is a game that's being played, and people are not playing this game by the rules that I believe they should be playing it, because that's the beta male or the fairy tale, the Disneyfication mentality. So it's up to you. The last point that I want to raise is RP advantage. The RP advantage is basically the fact that how RP awareness helps you see through it all. I mean, a lot of these things, when I would have seen this advert or have seen similar ads like this that talks about how men should be, and you always hear this language of a real man does this, a real man does that. Do not fall for that shaming language, and do not fall for the okie doke, because at the end of the day, is everything that they say that they want as women, we want sensitive men that is in touch with their feminine side. Oh, he can wear a dress. It's although he's a heterosexual man, he can wear a dress. It's up to him. Now, if you are part of the LMNOP community and you want to be what you want to be, go for it. I don't have any issues with that. But if you are a hetero guy, don't tell me to change what a hetero guy is by wanting to push in from the outside, telling us what a hetero man should be and should not be wearing. So me identifying as a heterosexual man, I believe in masculinity is what this world is needing. I believe in the manosphere, and I believe that as we are RP aware, we as men will see through the BS. We will see through the politics. I mean, if you still find yourself on either on one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle, you need to go and check yourself before you wreck yourself. I've always been, me personally, I was a blue person. I believed in the liberal politics. Then I swung back to the more conservative politics. And for me, I said, you know what? I am doing what I believe as to what my belief system is, and doing all of that and operating within RP awareness and doing things through an RP lens. So you can accept the truths of life. You can accept these cold truths when it comes to hypergamy, as to why you would drop, as to why that hypergamy that females have will always drive them to go for what they want. And you as a man have to accept that. And you should not be butthurt, but you should then go on and live in abundance. I talk about the video where, go check out the video again, how to have an abundance mindset, where I talk about if you push yourself when it comes to getting your fitness up, getting your money right, getting your look right, you're working on your fitness, working on your purpose, working on your dress sense, working on your grooming, and working on pushing yourself in learning more, in upskilling yourself, in getting better in your social arena, in being in understanding social dynamics, getting better in working on your charisma, and when you come into in talking to people and coming into a room where your presence are felt and by others, and not just that you are just being swept to the side as just another face. When you have all those things and you build day by day, a lot of guys would want to ask, you know what, this whole RP thing is a bit ridiculous. I don't have time to do all of these things. You know what? That's totally your prerogative. You can do what you want to do. But don't complain when you're not getting certain results in life, because you're not putting in the work, and you are not pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Me personally, one of the things was you saw the hobbies part of the channel where I do motorbiking. I was extremely scared when it came to upping the cc's to 600 cc, but I pushed myself. I learned from the best. I spent time with guys that could teach me, and then I finally got onto a bike, and now it is going on 2 3 years that I am basically been riding motorbike, and it's like second nature to me now. But years back, it was such a big hurdle for me to do. So you always have to push yourself, your purpose, your fitness, your when it comes to your purpose, your money, your fitness, your dress sense, your grooming, your skill level. When it comes to always learning, reading books, and also when it comes to your grooming, the way you connect with others, learning about social skills, and learning how to communicate better, how to present better, doing this type of videos. A year back for me, I looked at it as not just a mountain, but an Everest to climb. But today I'm doing a live stream with you guys, and I've grown to a point where I can have these type of discussions and get my thoughts, line of thought into a proper lesson, and be able to present it. It's something that I was not able to do, but in the past, in a very confident manner. But I did it in the past when it comes to my job and what I did and what I'm still doing, and it helped me to obviously get better. But this format and this platform, this YouTube platform, has pushed me tremendously and has helped me grow when it comes to my presentation of the channel, in the way, the look of it and feel of it, the way my thumbnails look, the way the videos are edited, the way I'm setting up the live streams, the guests that I'm connecting with. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of strategizing, and it has just helped me ultimately to grow and push myself further. So, you know what, when it comes to the RP awareness, and when it comes to that advantage that we have, the more you lean into it, when it comes to understanding the truths and cold hard truths about life, that the life doesn't owe you anything, no one owes you anything, and to stop participating this victim mentality. As you can see, I am a person of color. I live in Cape Town, South Africa, and we have our own history when it comes to apartheid and the way our country was run since whatever settlers arrived back in the day. Sometimes I still hear today where people still blame colonialism. They still blame the things of the past. And yes, there are certain effects. There is certain Group Areas Act that came into the 60s that was implemented. There's still long lingering effects. But I refuse, as Manosphere Paradigm, I refuse these things to hold me back. I refuse to make it as an excuse to say why I couldn't achieve something or couldn't do something was because I am socially disadvantaged or previously disadvantaged because of my skin color or whatever my grandparents, my parents endured, whatever the case may be. I refuse, and I say I am looking at the glass half full, not empty. I am pushing on this abundance mindset. The scarcity mindset is going to push you towards the victim Olympics, where you're always going to make excuses. But if you allow yourself to not have an excuse, you will make a way, you will find a way, and you're going to grow from where this channel was hi, my name is Hein, and welcome to Hein's Manosphere Paradigm. I look like a deer in headlights in that very first video. Go check it out. Go see how nervous I was, how I was stuttering. Maybe I'm still stuttering a bit, and some of my words aren't coming out clear, but I'm working on that, and I'm gonna get better, and this channel is gonna get better. So again, like I said, the RP advantage is, in general, your life is going to get better because you are not allowing yourself to make excuses anymore. You're leaning into things, and a lot of guys like, this is a lot of work. For how long should I do this? And I always say, there's no time frame on this. There's no, you know what, do this for 2 years, and then you're going to see the results, and you're going to lay back In 2 years, the amount of growth that will go through, that mentality of doing something to sit back and just enjoy it and just do nothing, get to the position of being able to do nothing, you will find out very quickly that that is not where you want to be, because you are actually enjoying and growing within this entire type of this whole process is what you enjoy, because you are learning, you are growing, you're meeting new people, you're connecting with people, you're learning different software. I'm just speaking about the experience that I'm having or had when it comes to this channel, and the way I've gone about putting things together for the Manosphere Paradigm, and how I've grown because of it. So you know what? Getting to know the RP and getting to know the repo, getting to know the community, getting to know the different content creators that's out there. Shout out to Rolo Tomasi, shout out to Coach Greg Adams, shout out to Donovan Sharp, shout out to MTR, shout out to the Poor Man's Podcast, shout out to AMS, Alpha Male Strategies, shout out to Steffi Skull, shout out to FitX Fear. What is it? FitX Fearless. These are all the content creators that I watch, that I enjoy. Another guy that I also watch is Anthony Spade. You will find there is so much to learn, so much content creators that's out there that you can learn from, that you can learn and grow your knowledge base. But you have to be open to it. You have to challenge yourself. You cannot just keep on saying that old excuse of saying that you guys in the manosphere are making comparisons between the red and the blue pill and referring things to the matrix. That is so childish. That is so stupid. You know what? If that is what you believe, peace be upon you. I release you. What we do understand in the manosphere, not everyone's going to make it. Not everyone's going to make it. Not everyone is going to make it. And if you want to be one of those guys that's caught up in being confused, not understanding what the hell is going on, and constantly being led by what that television is telling you and what that news network is telling you, then that is your problem. But over here in the Manosphere Paradigm, we make up our mind for ourselves, we assess information, we look at information, we analyze it, and we understand to make sure to and see the world for what it is. We are not looking through this rose-colored glasses and always wanting to force reality to be the reality we want it to be. We accept the cold hard truths of life, and we say to ourselves, you know what? It is what it is. And I'm going to push myself and put in the work to do the best, be the best, and get the best results. So that was, again, I'm going to pop it up. Again, when it comes to the lesson that I did today was, or at least not lesson, but the live stream, is about how RP awareness helps you identify social engineering. And also how, and I want to just again add this to the stream, how RP awareness helps you identify social engineering. And the 3 points that I covered was purpose-driven advertising. I made an example of the Gillette advert. I'll put it in the link in the description for that. You can go check it out again. And also where I've described where they're no longer selling the products anymore, but they are selling us culture and programming us to believe a certain way. You can tell me I am a conspiracy theorist, but all I'm telling you is go watch some adverts today and try and find out if you can see. Most of the time you find yourself watching an advert, and by the end of it, if they didn't put the brand name or the brand emblem on the advert, you would have had no idea what the hell they were selling. So it's not just me. I mean, you've experienced it yourself. You know what I'm talking about. And then lastly, RP Advantage, talking about how red pill awareness helps you, opens your eyes to see the world for what it is, and also helps you to have an edge above the others, especially these white knight blue pill simps that constantly conduct themselves within this blue pill mindset and operate as a blue pill simp, respecting women to the highest degree of respect, but not being shown that respect in return, being disrespected, but still being not saying anything and not standing up for himself. So as being red pill and looking through life and operating through life with a red pill awareness gives you an edge above and puts you a cut above the rest, because you can see things before it happens, you can see things coming, and you can change course to be successful and to be ahead of the curve. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson, or at least that live stream, as I would say. I totally enjoyed presenting it. I didn't see anyone join onto the live stream. You know what? No hard feelings, but I know my subscribers are going to come check out the video. For my subscribers, if you have guys that is interested in this content and you're having some discussions with friends about what's happening in the world, and also understanding and identifying that there's a movement within the manosphere that is so diverse, so many viewpoints, but we are creating the platform to have a voice for men to be heard in today's society. And if you're talking to friends and these type of conversations come up, feel free to share my videos with them so that they can come and check out. We can learn, we can grow together. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. I'm out. Peace.